तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः।
ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना. We are studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and we are in the conversations of 16th October 1883. Thakur is mainly talking to Balram's father. While talking thus, Sri Ramakrishna went into Samadhi. He sat there motionless, completely forgetful of the outer world. So, while talking about God, Sri Ramakrishna goes into that experience and so in Samadhi. But then for the sake of the people, he does come down and sang. So when he is slightly outside, he can sing. Ah, friend, I have not found him yet, whose love has driven me mad. So only one line is given because elsewhere it has been given. And this one line is sufficient to indicate Gopi's bhav or some lady devotee of Chaitanya that Jar Janne Pagal Holam, I became mad for him. And yet I have not seen him. So hearing his name, this has happened. So our name is powerful, that is in this song. At the master's request, now he is unable to sing further because of intensity of love. So he asked Ramlal to sing. Ramlal, master's nephew, sang a song describing how Chaitanya embraced the monastic life. Yesterday we were talking about this. Chaitanya's life is a success story. When he was at the height of his devotion, when people had started calling him God himself, he abandoned everything and took sannyas. But even after that, his love for God is not diminishing. That is the description. Let us see. Oh, what a vision I have beheld in Keshav Bharati's hut. Keshav Bharati was the sannyas guru. He has given sannyas to Chaitanya, and that state of his is being described. Gora is Chaitanya's name because he is fair in complexion, Radha outside. In all his matchless grace, shedding tears in 1,000 streams, love. Like a mad elephant, he dances in ecstasy and sings, drunk with an overwhelming love. So even after sannyas, the description is that his love has grown rather, not diminished. Rolling flat upon the ground and swimming in his tears, he weeps and shouts Lord Hari's name. So instead of singing in the regular song, he shouts Lord Hari's name, Haribol, piercing the very heavens with his cries, loud as a lion's roar. Then, most humbly, he begs men's love. So he wants love from men. Men should love Hari. That is what he begs. To feel himself the servant of God. So I am God's servant. I want to spread His love amongst people. That is the work given to me. So I am begging from you people, please love God. That is the state of his mind, because he is an incarnation, because he feels himself to be a servant of God, sent to this world to teach love to people. Shorn of his locks, that means hair has been, mundan has been done, because before sannyas this has to be done. He has put on the yogi's ochre robe. Sannyasis wear ochre robe, so that has been given to him already. Even the hardest heart must melt to see him as sannyasi. The devotees who have seen him loving God always are very, their heart to see him, both his love weeping and his sannyasi dress, both make shock them, and they to see his pure and heavenly love, smitten by man's deep woe. Because man is suffering, so he is spreading the love of God, and so to be able to teach them, he has taken sannyas. So both things are for man's love. Smitten by man's deep woe, he has abandoned everything. So he has become a sannyasi to be a real teacher of men and pours out love unstintingly. So as a sannyasi also, his love for God and love for men, he pours unstintingly. Oh, would that Premadas is the poet, were his slave and passing from door to door, might sing Gauranga's endless praise. So same thing as Gauranga is doing for Krishna, the poet wants to do for Gauranga himself because he is God. The master asked Mani Malik, so he is making all the people think of God. That is the purpose. So Ramlal Singh, everybody is listening. Now he asked Mani Malik to tell something which he knows, to quote the words of Tulsidas to the effect that one who had developed love of God could not observe caste distinctions. And this also we saw that the Vaishnavas keep the caste distinction. Here not the mark of the Vaishnavas. No. So caste distinction is for ordinary social man. When the love of God grows, all people appear to him only God's creation, God's love, and so the caste distinction cannot remain. To that Tulsidas has told something, and that Master Moshe wants Mani Malik to sing. Mani. The throat of the Chataka bird is pierced with thirst. All around are the waters of the Ganges, the Jamuna, the Sharayu. Sharayu is the river flowing near Ayodhya, Rama's birthplace, and of innumerable other rivers and lakes. But the bird will not touch any of these. It only looks up expectantly for the rain that falls when the star Swati is in the ascendant. So that is the legend, belief of the Indian people, that there is a constellation that is called Swati. 27 constellations of orbit of sun. Out of that, one is called Swati. And when the Swati is in the ascendant, that means on the um, sky we see Swati. So when that is the position, then when the rain comes, then the Chataka will directly take from the rain. So here, Thakur has asked him to tell about the caste, but he is telling this about his Ekanishta love of God, and then he will come to caste. Master, That means that love for the lotus feet of God is alone real and all else illusory. So what Mani has tried to tell through that Chataka's illustration, Thakur explains for the sake of all listeners that it means that only love of God is certain, everything else is illusory in the bhakta's mind. And such a bhakta is telling Mani. Tulsi also said. So now he comes to what Master wanted. At the touch of the philosopher's stone, the eight metals become gold. Ashta dhatus are there, but in the Paraspathar, philosopher's stone touches it, it becomes gold. So, likewise, all castes, even the butcher and the untouchable, become pure by repeating Hari's name. So, that is the philosopher's stone. Repeat Hari's name, whether you are a butcher, whether you are untouchable, all become pure. Without Hari's name, the people of the four castes are but butchers. So, even the so-called caste, high and low, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, they are like butchers, outcasts, chandalas, if they do not take the name of God. So from both sides, all castes become same. If you take God's name, you are holy. If you do not take God's name, all your castes are of no use. So caste becomes same by on the both sides due to Hari's name, taken or not taken. Master. Now Thakur gives a beautiful example for this. The hide that scriptures forbid one to touch can be taken inside the temple after it has been tanned. In what form? Perhaps this reference is for the one who serves water. He has a bag of leather, but that has been tanned. Nowadays, all the ladies carry their vanity bag into the temple, which is also made of leather. So, when it is tanned, it is pure. If it is not tanned, even it cannot be touched. So, supporting that, Mani Malik saying, Thakur has given another example. Mani, Tulsi also, uh, man becomes, Thakur is explaining further, man becomes pure by repeating the name of God. Therefore, one should practice the chanting of God's name. So now he comes to practical. That because such is the case, you should chant the God's name. I said to Jadu Malik's mother, Jadu Malik's mother used to feel about Thakur that she is the mother. Thakur is like a child. And she was so much loving Thakur. But Thakur wanted that she should not love Thakur in any human relation only. Her love should be shifted to God and she should be chanting God's name. So, love for himself, he wants to transfer for God. Though he was God himself, but with that pure consciousness, he should take the name of God. That is what the Adhikarik Purushas or real gurus or avatars do. They do not possess people's mind. They want to shift all the people's sentiments towards God. So I said to Jadu Malik's mother, in the hour of death, you will think only of worldly things, of family, children, executing the will, and so forth. So some talk must have happened that about to die, she wants to execute a will. And on that, Thakur is telling, even at the point of death, you will think of these things. The thought of God will not come to your mind. The way to remember God in the hour of death is to practice now the repetition of His name and the chanting of His glories. So in the Gita it is said that when you take God's name at the end of your life, you will go to God. But don't believe that you will take God's name at the end of your life. Only If you practice now continuously, then it will come at the end of life. Because the impression should be strong. It is not only what comes at the end of life. If the impression of taking God's name is strong, then only it will come at the end of life. Thakur gives an example also for contrary. So he wants repetition of his name and chanting of his glories, Nama Gunagan. If one keeps up this practice, then in the hour of death one will repeat the name of God. Otherwise, what will happen? That Thakur gives an example. When the cat pounces upon the bird, now when somebody possesses the parrot, it teaches him to say Radha Krishna, Govinda, Govinda, but that is not in his mind. The person who teaches might become holy, but not the parrot, because he is doing it mechanically, without the spirit. Parrot does not understand that. He is only think that if I repeat this name, I get some food. When the cat pounces upon the bird only quacks and does not say Rama Rama Hare Krishna, only quacks because he is about to die. So like that will happen if you think something else now at the point of death also, God's name will not come. So don't leave it to future imagination. You start practicing now. It is good to prepare for death. One should constantly think of God and chant his name in solitude during the last years of one's life. So at least when in the old age, always you should take, but at least in the old age, you should go to solitude. You should not think of will and my people and all that. Now it is time for you. Now you should start practicing the name of God. That is the emphasis. Because Yadu's mother was already old. If the elephant is put into the stable after its bath, it is not soiled again by dirt and dust. This is another fact. Elephant is full of dust. Then he is taken to river for bath. And as soon as it comes out, it starts playing with the dust. So it is used. So what they do, as soon as he comes out of the river, he is tied to a tree. He is not allowed to play with dust. He is put into the stable where he cannot touch dust. So once you start the chanting the name of God, don't stop and don't allow the worldly thoughts to come to you. Otherwise, once again and again that worldly thought, then you will not think of God at the end. That is the thing. Thakur is teaching Yadu's mother because she has already become old. Balaram's father, this was all oriented to him. Plus Manimali and Benipal were all elderly men. Did the master give this instruction especially for their benefit? So he's talking of Yadu's mother, who is not present there, but he's talking of what he told Yadu's mother. That is the indirect way of influencing people. And all this talk was mainly for Balaram's father. Others also. Master, why do I ask you to think of God and chant his name in solitude? So now he is directly talking to them. Living in the world day and night, one suffers from worries. So one forgets God. So practice should be there. Haven't you noticed brother killing brother for a foot of land? That is the world, whether it is Thakur's time, whether it is today, whether it is ancient times, for a foot of land. Brothers will quarrel, brothers will kill brothers. That is the world. So don't think of brother, think of God only. The Sikh said to me, the cause of all worry and confusion is these three: land, woman, and money. So he has the habit of taking the name of the person from whom he has heard. though it may be his own view. So Sikhs told me, and this is famous in Hindi, Jameen Joru, or it should start from Jam. Daulat, let me see in Bengali what it is. Huh? Hmm? Oh, we've crossed this. We've crossed this. Jemi, Joru, or Taka. So here, that rhythm is not there. Huh? Now it is in Bengali. Otherwise, I have heard Jameen, Joru, Rupaya. So that in Bengali is Taka. So Sikhs, they knew Bengali, so they have told Thakur like that, or they might have told in Hindi. Thakur is telling in Bengali. So these are the things only for which a man struggles. And these are the bondages for him. He becomes attached to these three. The Sikh said to me, that day I told you, noon te lakdi. So it is something like that. That was all in the kitchen. But Jameen, Joru, wife is called Joru in Urdu and Hindi, and Rupaya. Thakur's Kamini Kanchan plus land. The cause of all worry and confusion. Confusion, that means thinking becomes disturbed. That is confusion. Is these three, land, woman, and money. Jato golmal ashanti. So, this worry and confusion. You are leading householder's life. Why should you be afraid of the world? Hmm? Householders are afraid of the world. Why you should be afraid? When Rama said to Dasharatha that he was going to renounce the world, this from Yoga Vasishtha. Rama wanted to go away to the forest. Then Dasharatha was afraid. He told Vasishtha to tell something to Rama. It worried his father, and the king sought counsel of Vasishtha, Rama's guru. Vasishtha said to Rama, Rama, why should you give up the world? Reason with me. Is this world outside God? What is there to renounce and what is there to accept? So this is the advice to householders. Thakur has started as a householder. Then why Thakur gave up the world? Why sannyasis give up the world? So they are not able to. So they should think of this philosophy. But important is that they should not be attached to the world as world. World also is God's form. That is the change of attitude. That is main. What is there to renounce and what is there to accept? Nothing whatever exists but God. It is Brahman alone that appears as Ishvara, Maya, living beings, and the universe. So Brahman appears as Ishvara. That means ruler of the world. And Ishvara has Maya Shakti. So that is also appearance of Brahman. Then in Ishvara Srishti, there are living beings and the non-living beings. So all that is Brahman itself. To make it comprehensive, these four words are used. Balaram's father, it is very difficult, sir. So that remains a talk. Thakur is telling householders need not be afraid. Why should they give up the world? And they can practice like this. But those who are householders, those who are sincere in their effort, they know that this is a talk. It may be for Ramachandra, but it is very difficult. It is not easy. I remember my personal life when I first went to Nagpur and I did not want to go back at all. But my teacher told me because I had gone after M.Sc. Part 1. So complete and come back. And then he taught me when you go to the house, you should live like this. And when I went to house, I found it is impossible to live like this. But that helped me in making my mind strong that I will go back to Sunnah. So that is the thing, practical life. Master, the aspirant while practicing spiritual discipline looks upon the world as a framework of illusion. So at the start it is difficult to feel that everything is God. So Balaram Sadhar said it is very difficult. So Thakur is showing the way. In the beginning, looks upon the world as a framework of illusion. Again, after the attainment of knowledge, the vision of God, this very world becomes to him a mansion of mirth. So we know this already. Ram Prasad said that world is like this. And then somebody said that is a mansion of mirth. So when you see God filled with all, in all, then it is happiness. God being Ananda Swarup. When you see God in the form of the world, then you also are happy. Otherwise, in the beginning, until you have realized this, it is really very difficult to. I remember one incident, very, very bad incident. Somebody came to one of my teachers, Shivatatvananji, a military or navy man. And he said, you people are telling God in everything. Very bad thing, but it came to my mind. He is absent for 6 months, 4 months because he is Navy man. And his absence, his father developed illicit relation with his wife. So he said, I wanted to shoot my father. Somehow arrested. And you want me to see God in him? Very difficult. This is the world we cannot forget. But Thakur is telling that, okay, in the beginning, but if you develop love of God, if you realize God, after that only, so he is encouraging them and agreeing that it is difficult. Otherwise, no, he is not telling like that. So it is difficult in the beginning. And if you realize, then it becomes a, so think of that and try. Otherwise, come out. But they cannot in the old age. The very world becomes to him a mansion of mirth. It is written in the books of the Vaishnavas. God can be attained through faith alone. Reasoning pushes him far away, faith alone. So this thinking and all that stuff, have faith in God, in God's name, and practice that. Gradually changes will occur. So practical way, every sentence Thakur is showing to them. Ideal, practical way. What faith Krishna Kishore had. And he has a ready trump card with him. When faith matter comes, he refers to Krishna Kishore. At Vrindavan, a low-caste man drew water for him from a well. Krishna Kishore was very thirsty, and there was a well, and there was a man drawing water from that. So he requested him, you please give me some water. That man hesitated. He said, I belong to very low caste. Then Krishna Kishore said, you tell the name of Hari. and now give me water. That faith. Krishna Kishore said to him, repeat the name of Shiva. After the man had repeated the name of Shiva, Krishna Kishore unhesitedly drank the water. So, power of faith. He used to say, if a man chants the name of God, does he need to spend money anymore for the atonement of his sins? Money means you go to the priest and they will have some ceremony made and said. An extremely funny story I will tell on real story. The Christians in Northeast India, I am not meaning anything bad about Christianity, but how they take advantage of the illiterate people or those who are credulous people. So one of our workers was a Christian in Halong Center in Arunachal Pradesh. His father died. So he said, I want to use the priest, some rituals have to be done. You please give me some money. So some money I am forgetting now, whether 1,000 or 200. So our people thought, let him have that money. They gave him. Then after 2 days he comes and says, please give me little more money. What happened? The priest said that we have pushed your father in heaven, but his hand is still outside. Priest saw that this man is credulous, he has believed us, so they wanted it. So, this money, in Hindus, they will do some Shanti, Swasthi, and this or that. Krishna Keshwar is telling, if a man chants the name of God, does he need to spend money anymore for the atonement of his sin, his own sins? Prayashchitta. How foolish. He was amazed to see people worshipping God with this sacred tulsi leaf in order to get rid of their illness. So, man has illness. So, they will take the name of God with tulsi leaf in his hand. Some ritual. Oh. Correct. Correct. Oh, I miss my. रोगादि जन्य तुलसी दीचे Krishna Kishore देखे आवा. So various rituals he engages himself. One of them is to offer tulsi leaves to God. That Krishna Kishore is surprised. At the breathing ghat here, he said to us, please bless me that I may pass my days repeating Rama's holy name. Whenever I went to his house, he would dance and joy at the sight of me. So he could perceive Thakur's spirituality. Rama said to Lakshmana, brother, whenever you find people singing and dancing in the ecstasy of divine love, know for certain that I am there. So God is present. This comes from Rama's mouth to his brother Lakshmana. Chaitanya is an example of such ecstatic love. He laughed and wept and danced and sang in divine ecstasy. ecstasy. He was an incarnation of God, incarnated himself. He was an incarnation. God incarnated himself through Chaitanya. That is meaning of incarnation, not incarnation of somebody. So he had full. Sri Ramakrishna sang a song describing the divine love of Chaitanya. That is not given here. Huh? In Bengali, 2 lines are given. Bhav habe voi ki je bhav nidhi Shri Gaurange. Bhave hase kande nache gaye. Pukuri pukuri kande. So same thing as Thakur has told already. So the lines are not given.
Here in Bengali, जैसे रामचंद्र लक्ष्मण के बोललेন যেখানে ऊर्जिता भक्ति
Urjita means transcendental, Urjita means higher. Urjita can also mean with knowledge, shining bhakti. And here, ecstatic bhakti. That is Urjita. Then Balram's father, Mani Malik, Benipal and several other devotees took leave of the master. Here he has made it plain in Bengali with Agra and Kollet. Now somewhere I saw Ishan, that is afterwards. Here Ishan is not there. In the evening, devotees from Kanchitola, Calcutta arrived. Is it Kanchitola? Kansari Pada. Kansari Pada. In English, it has become Kansari Tola, not Kanchi. Kansari Tola. Kansari Pada. Both means area. Because they were devotees, the master danced and sang with them in a state of divine fervor. After dancing, he went into a spiritual mood and said, I shall go part of the way myself. So that is not the ordinary plane of life. So in mood, bhav. He said, I shall go part of the way myself. What is this part of the way? Kansari Padar Harisabar Bhakti Raya. That is not mentioned here. Devotees of a organization called Harisabha. তাহাদের সঙ্গে শ্রীরামকৃষ্ণ মত্ত মাতঙ্গিরদান নৃত্য করিতেছেন, নৃত্যের পর ভাবিষ্ট বলেছেন, আমি খানিকটা আপনি যাব. So meaning has not been given here. That means I cannot keep your company now. I have kept your company. For your company's sake I have danced and sang. But now I shall go up where you people will not go with me. That appears to be the meaning. Connector. Last part. Kishori came forward to massage his feet, but the master did not allow anyone to touch him, because now he is going inside. Kishori felt devotion because of that, but master is going beyond. Ishan arrived. The master was seated still in a spiritual mood. Above all, after a while he became engaged in talk with Ishan. It was Ishan's desire to practice the Purascharan of the Gayatri. Sunrise to sunset, he will chant Gayatri, that is Purascharan. Master to Ishan, follow your own intuition. That means previously Thakur has told him, don't do that. But he still wanted. So Thakur does not want to obstruct that. I hope there is no more doubt in your mind. Is there any? So if doubt is there, you should not do anything. But if the doubt is resolved, you go in your own way. The path of the Vedas is not meant for the Kali Yuga. The path of Tantra is efficacious. So this Gayatri belongs to Vedas. And that path is very difficult. Karma Kanda. All Vedas cannot be kept up now. I remember so many things here. There was a great devotee, householder, Mahapurush, initiated by Mahapurush Maharaj. He was in the students' home in Chennai, he was called Anna, means elder brother, of all the students. He came here as the orphan student. Then he did his BA-LD. He became the teacher. He became the headmaster. And after retirement, he was the president of our managing committee. So everybody called him Anna. Now at the age of 93, he became sick. And he became sorrowful for that. We used to meet very often. So he told me why it has happened. I have lived a Vedic life, so I must live 100 years. So I had to tell him in this Kali Yuga, nobody can live exactly Vedic life. And 100 may not mean 100, and 93. He recovered at that time. And he passed away at the age of 96. That is one thing I remember. Vedic. And other thing I remember, foolishness, is that in Rishikesh there was a Vivekananda Ashram, and in their annual meeting, sadhus from different Kailash Ashram used to come, and they are preaching the Vedic rituals to the modern man. Who can do that? That means we will talk and he will listen. That is the only meaning. So one has to understand that the rituals prescribed by the Tantra, as I told what the Tantra is, that the Advaita itself they want to make in a concrete form. And that is common. Our puja in all Ramakrishna mission, the pujas are tantric pujas. It does not mean this woman and all that, but the prescribed ritual is fully according to Tantra. Shashi Maharaj, Ramakrishna Swami's father, was a great tantric acharya. So he has helped in this, our pujas. So tantras do not mean that Vamacharya, but the form of the puja is tantric. Ishan, I have almost resolved to perform an atonement ceremony. So, atonement suddenly, প্রায়শ্চিত্তের মতো সংকল্প করেছিলাম। আমি একরকম প্রায়শ্চিত্তের মতো সংকল্প করেছিলাম। So this Purashchara is not for gaining punyam or devotion. He feels he has done something wrong. And for atonement, I thought of this Gayatri Mantra. That is what he is telling. And like atonement. That means he is still open to correction. And Thakur has told him what you feel right is do. But Tantra is efficacious. Master, do you mean to say that one cannot follow the path of Tantra? So for atonement, you are going back to Vedas. That which is Brahman is also Shakti, Kali. So Tantras prescribe the worship of Shakti, the Kali. So why you cannot do that? Knowing that secret that Kali is one with highest Brahman, I have discarded once for all both righteousness and sin. So in Tantra, it is not accepted you are a sinner. Ishan, it is mentioned in a hymn in the Chandi, he knows that, that Brahman alone is the primary energy. Brahman is identical with Shakti. So he knows as a theory or as a information, he is a great scholar, master. It will not do to simply to express that idea in words. Only when you assimilate it will all be well with you. So practice according to that. Accept that fully from your heart. Only you know that theoretically will not do. See, the teaching at every step is so much practical, spiritual. Nobody else could have done that. When the heart becomes pure through the practice of spiritual discipline, then one rightly feels that God alone is the doer. He alone has become mind, life, and intelligence. We are only his instruments. So this should come by sadhana, the change in attitude, the change in the state of consciousness. That he will realize that God is the only doer. So no question of I have done good or I have done bad. This is the great thing. And Thakur says that this man is mukta, Jivan-Mukta, if he has realized that God is the doer. He cannot do anything bad because what is the definition of bad? What ego does is bad. What God does is good. So this is the important thing. We must bring ourselves to this state by spiritual practice. Thou it is that holdest the elephant in the mire, thou that helpest the lame man scale the loftiest hill. अच्छा? কোথায় আছে এটা? पंखे बद्ध करो, अच्छा, thou here means divine mother. पंखे बद्ध करो करी पंगुरे लंगाओ गिरी. So this is what? Holdest the elephant in the mire. Holdest means keep him bound. In the mire, the elephant's leg, what happens? If you want to pressurize it, still goes down. That is the mud. So, a great powerful elephant, but if she will do like that thing. And a man who is lame, if she will cross the hill. So everything is her will. That is to be realized. I told that story repeatedly. I do not forget it. Our Nitya Badanji came from Geneva. Belur Math had asked him or he requested to retire. And he had to go to Belur Math. But he landed in Mumbai. Our Mumbai Mahanta, Hiranmayanji, he asked him, what are your plans? He said, now I am going to Belur Math. After that, whatever Thakur wills. Hiranmayanji said, we talk of Thakur's will, but do our own will, is it not? Tears flowed from his eyes. This old man, about 90 years. And said, brother, if one thing I realized in life, not a leaf of a tree moves without his will. This is what I realized. When your heart becomes pure, then you will realize it is God who makes us perform such rites as the Purascharana. So Purascharana you can do, but that also with the consciousness as God is making you do. Attitude change. Thou workest thine own work, men only call it there. That is the Kali. Tumar karma tumi koroma, loke bole koriyami. So you are doing your work, Divine Mother, through this or that instrument. The whole world is her instrument. But the question is of realizing that. You think you are doing your own work. All doubts disappear after the realization of God. Then the devotee meets the favorable wind. He becomes free from worry. Favorable wind means one is taking a ship or a boat through the river, and one has to go on struggling to make it in the right path. But suppose the wind blows in the same direction in which he wants to go. So he puts up the sail and keeps quiet. He may even, a Thakur story, he may even smoke his owl bubble and the boat is moving. So this will happen after realization of God.
How does it appear in a devotee's life? Like
He should realize God. That is what is saying. He should love God. Practice, practice, practice again and again, he is telling. So after you get love, realization God, this will happen, that God is the doer. So that itself is calling realization of God, not miracle samadhi. You realize Saguneshwar. And Saguneshwar is the doer. It is not that you have to make him like that. So if that much if you realize, then it is Mukti. So after that only, till then struggle, struggle, struggle. And if one understands it at any stage of life, then the life becomes smooth. All doubts disappear after the realization of God. A man's mind is filled with doubts. If he reads, I am quoting from Revered Ranganathanji's instruction book. He says there are several doubts. If you read proper books like Kathāmrita, Leela Prasanga, Swamiji's works, 50% of your doubts will vanish. Then as you practice sadhana, doubts will go on listening and listening. And all doubts will vanish only when you realize God. Vidyate hridaya granthi chidyante sarva samshaya tasmin drishte paravari. Then the devotee meets the favorable wind. He becomes free from worry. He is like the boatman, that warrior, who, when the favorable wind blows, unfurls his sail, holds the rudder lightly, and enjoys the smoke. Hold the rudder lightly. Ishan took his leave, and Sri Ramakrishna talked with M. No one else was present. He asked M what he thought of Narendra, Rakhal, Adhar, and Hazra, and whether they were guileless, and asked the master, what do you think of me? M said, you are simple and at the same time deep. Simple and simpleton. People appear simple because they are foolish. But Thakur is not simple like that. You are simple at the same time deep. It is extremely difficult to understand you, Sri Ramakrishna laughed. That M has understood to some extent. Over. So that date, 16th November, is over. 16th October. Now we are jumping into November 26th. Huh? Om Tava Kathāmritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibirīditam Kalmashāpaham Shravanamangalam Shrimadaatatam Bhuvi Grunanti Ye Bhurida Jana. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.